To the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha most excellent, I take refuge until enlightenment is reached. By the merit of generosity and other good deeds, may I attain Buddhahood for the benefit of all sentient beings. To the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha most excellent, I take refuge until enlightenment is reached. By the merit of generosity and other good deeds, may I attain Buddhahood for the benefit of all sentient beings. In the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha most excellent, I take refuge until enlightenment is reached. By the merit of generosity and other good deeds, may I attain Buddhahood for the benefit of all sentient beings. The four immeasurables, may all mother sentient beings, boundless as the sky, have happiness and causes of happiness. May they be liberated from suffering and causes of suffering. May they never be separated from happiness that is free from sorrow. May they rest in equanimity free from attachment and aversion. May all mother sentient beings, boundless as the sky, have happiness and causes of happiness. May they be free from suffering and causes of suffering. May they never be separated from happiness that is free from sorrow. May they rest in equanimity free from attachment and aversion. May all mother sentient beings, boundless as the sky, have happiness and causes of happiness. May they be liberated from suffering and causes of suffering. May they never be separated from happiness, which is free from sorrow. May they rest in equanimity, free from attachment and aversion. Short mandala offering, an infinite array of worlds, each with four continents and the wealth of infinite ocean of realms. If I bring them all to mind and offer them without exception, please hold with compassion all beings they contain. My body, enjoyments, and whatever I own, my aggregates, elements, sense sources, my aspirations now in the time to come, as well as everything I grasp as mine. By offering them all, may I be blessed with the end of self-grasping, completely liberated from the bounds of real and unreal, transcending the names and attributes of arising, cessation, abiding, coming and going, affirmation and denial. The supreme mandala is the natural state. By offering it, may I be blessed to attain the state of Buddhahood. Om Guru Devada Kimi Ratna Mandala Pratitsa Soha. Um, I apologize. Let me supplication to Lord Jigten Sumgen. Unequal refuge, ornament of the world, your fame pervades the 3,000 worlds. You are the victor, Vajrayana, without a doubt. I bow at the feet of the Father, Jigten Sumgen. Continually I think of no one but you. Compassionate one, grant your blessings. Dispel the darkness that surrounds my heart. Please bless me so that I realize the unelaborate nature of mind. Request for teachings. Please turn the wheel of the Dharma of the two vehicles and their combinations according to disposition and likewise the mental capacities of sentient beings.
Okay, everybody. First, please take a deep breath. Inhale fully. All the blessings of the Buddha. And exhale all our stress. And once more, please inhale fully all the loving kindness, compassion, all the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas. And heal our mind. And exhale. Once more, please inhale fully all the bodhicitta, the enlightened mind of all the Buddhas. And we cultivate bodhicitta. and exhale. And please relax the body and mind in that state, like the nature of the space, very natural. And then please reflect. So I have this precious human life. Because of this, today I got a chance to reflect in the practice of the bodhicitta, the mind of the enlightenment. Also, please reflect our mindfulness. To reflect on the mind itself is so precious. In the world, there are not many people talk about the mind and how to develop the mind. We always focus on the outside, outer material. Even though we all share that we desire for peace and happiness, even though we all share we desire to free from suffering, but many people will not talk so much about the development of the mind. And here, as you see, the Buddha's teaching, the mind, we cannot deny that it is with us. It's not a religious belief, but it is something that everybody endowed. Everybody has this. And because of that, from the innate of the mind, we just desire for peace and happiness. We just desire to free from suffering. It's not something dogmatized or brainwashed. It is something everybody shares. It's universal. So Buddha we call enlightened. Enlightened because of that he totally revealed that mind completely. He said, I found such a nectar. This total peace is so profound. Its nature is luminosity, effulgence. Is totally pervading emptiness. Is uncompounded, means nobody created that. And Buddha revealed that mind. From that wisdom taught all those teachings to every sentient beings. And we are so fortunate that you are interested in this study practice. So it's not just mere empty. The relative and emptiness are inseparable. The relativity nature is all the manifestations, reflections, all on functions within the dimension of the causality. All that what manifested or manifestations, the nature is because of the relative is emptiness. So the emptiness and all the relativity manifestations are inseparable. So here we are starting this practice. Our mind is, you see, very complex. unfathomable until one becomes the Buddha. It's the measuring the space. So this is what we're doing. We are not just training as some kind of a religious, or some kind of a belief, but this is very scientific and reality nature. So now we are studying this famous book, The Jewel Ornament of Liberation. Not so detailed, but we are getting all the essence. And you can read. You read, you reflect again and again, read. Every time you read, you get something new. Because Gampopa wrote from his enlightened mind, not just from scholar, because he was so scholar, kind of lot of studies. He studied enough, and then he practiced, and he achieved enlightenment, Buddhahood. So out of wisdom, compassion, he compiled this book. As you see all the quotations from the sutras and the great writers like Nagarjuna, Shantideva, Asanga, so forth. Now, we're at the section of the bodhicitta, the complete antidote or remedy to not understanding how to free from samsara and to attain the enlightenment, Buddhahood. In other words, to achieve complete enlightenment means total peace and happiness. Having said that, is that to capture the total, complete our nature of the mind. So that's what the book is about. So now we're in there are 12 in that, there are 12, as you see, there are 12 topics. As I mentioned, every topics are important. We pay attention on this and memorize, if you can, the summaries. So now we're in the training, the 12th training. That in the training, there are two, you see. The training of the aspiration bodhicitta. Please, there are 5 topics in that. Please pay attention on these 5 topics. They are foundation for the action bodhicitta. Then, on the basis of that, then there's the training of the action bodhicitta. In the training of the action bodhicitta, now you see there's 6 topics. It's called 6 parameters. So today we're in the perfection of the patience. So I will read. So I like to go as much as possible. If we can, maybe hopefully you can finish this patience and perseverance too. They are not too long, but we'll see. Chapter 14, the perfection of patience. Summary, reflection on the faults and virtues, definition, classification or division, characteristics or definition of each classification, increase, perfection, and result. These 7 comprise the profession of patience. Now you have patience. In English, we have little different connotation, understanding. Patience means little showing weakness. I think the meaning we have to understand. Patience means forbearance. You bear the difficulties, handle the difficult things positively, and courage, so patience. And even though you may have a chance to destroy others, those enemies, but you see the causality, and out of wisdom, out of compassion, then you just accept the difficulties and see how you can handle it skillfully, how to solve the problems. So there's a lot of things about to express about the patience. First I'll read some. There's a reflection on the faults and virtues. First is faults. Even though you may have the practice of generosity and moral ethics, but anger will develop if you do not have the practice of patience. If anger arises, then all the virtues which were previously accumulated through generosity, moral ethics, and so forth will be destroyed in an instant. The Bodhisattva basket says that which is called anger will destroy the roots of virtues which had been accumulated for hundreds and thousands of kalpas. It's very serious, So now this were very important to understand. This virtue which destroyed means the virtue, if we dedicate it, any practice we do, and if you dedicate that virtue, the wholesome deed, to attain enlightenment for the benefit of all sentient beings, so your virtue is given to all sentient beings, dedicated, so that will not destroy. So here is basically the virtue which you have not dedicated. And the anger is not just small anger, it's like outrage. When you have that kind of anger, then see, it has such a power. Then you don't hesitate to destroy others' life. So that kind of anger can destroy all the virtues. This is also, it's called defiled virtue, because we are unenlightened mind, or unenlightened beings. And from that, whatever virtue we have developed, what we have and not dedicated, then that can be destroyed. So therefore, any practice we do, at the end, is very important to dedicate, that we have that virtue, the dedication, by this virtue, of the sentient beings, nirvana, samsara, nirvana, accumulated in the 3 times, and the innate virtue, may I and all sentient beings achieve the complete enlightenment, perfect Buddhahood. Engaged in the context of Bodhisattva says, whatever wholesome deeds, such as venerating the Buddhas and generosity that have been amassed, collected over 1,000 eons, will all be destroyed in one moment of anger, one moment of outrage. Again, if you do not have patience and hatred enters into your mind, it is like a poisonous arrow piercing your heart. You will not experience joy, happiness, or peace because of the pain in your mind. You cannot even sleep well. Engaged in the conduct of the Bodhisattva says, my mind will not experience peace if it fosters painful thought of hatred, I shall find no joy or happiness. Unable to sleep, I shall feel unsettled. And in brief, there is nobody who lives happily with anger. So these are such important quotation that Gampopa brought here. So we keep these in our heart and then we practice. Look at the disadvantage of the anger. Again, if you do not have patience, hatred and anger enter inside, and a frowning face will manifest and cause all your friends, relatives, and servants to become tired and sad. Even if you give them food and wealth, what they need, they would not come around you. They would not appreciate. It is said, by it, friends and relatives are disheartened. Though drawn by my generosity, they will not trust me. Again, if you do not have patience, the maras will. This mara is the anger. The hatred itself is mara. The maras will get you and create obstacles. The Bodhisattva basket says, the maras will get you and create obstacles for you if you have the mind of hatred. Again, if you do not have patience, one of these 6 parameters on the path to Buddhahood is incomplete. So need 6 parameters, including this patience. So when you don't have the patience, so it's incomplete. So you will not achieve unsurpassable enlightenment. The condensed perfection of Wisdom Sutra says, one who has hatred and no patience, how can such a person achieve enlightenment? So on the other hand, if you have patience, it is one of the supreme virtues among all root virtues. As is said, there's no evil like hatred and no fortitude like patience. Thus, I should strive in various ways to meditate on patience, how to practice the patience, forbearance. If you have patience, even in the conventional state, you will have all happiness, as is said. But whoever assiduously overcome it, anger, finds happiness now and hereafter. If you have the practice of patience, you will achieve unsurpassable enlightenment. The meeting of Father and Son Sutra says, anger is not the path toward enlightenment. Therefore, if one always meditate on loving kindness, enlightenment will be produced. So these are some brief disadvantage of the anger and advantage of the practice of the patience. You see, so as mentioned, it's not just a religious training. Everybody in the world, we need to understand this about this. You need to share everybody, Dharma practitioners especially. Now definition. Definition of patience is a feeling of ease. Now this feeling of ease, just see, it's okay. It's not a big deal like these things. And generally, as Milarepa said, there's when you have no fear, so that's the patience. If you have no fear, even the enemies, then there's no anger can rise. Anger rises when there's a fear or not understanding, fear these things. So here is not being a lazy, but is mental strength based on wisdom and compassion. The Bodhisattva Bhumi says, a mind without confusion, you see here, the mind without confusion and with only a feeling of ease, accompanied by compassion, you see, compassion. In brief, one should understand this is the definition of a Bodhisattva's patience. See, without confusion means wisdom. See, without confusion, wisdom, accompanied by compassion. So, mind with the wisdom and compassion, and then just feeling of easiness. Oh, that's okay. No problem. No, we can handle that. You know. Now, classification. Patience has three classification or division. The patience of feeling ease towards someone harmful. This relates to the person. And the patience of accepting the suffering. This when you go through different types of suffering. And then third, the patience in understanding the nature of the Dharma, the uncontrived, unfabricated nature of the Dharma. The first one is practice patience by investigating the nature of the one who creates the harm, like enemy or anybody who hates you, who irritates you. The second one is practicing patience by investigating the nature of the suffering. The third one is practicing patience by investigating the unmistakable nature of all phenomena. You see, unmistakable. So unmistakable nature of all phenomena means unfabricated, uncontrived. The basic disposition of the phenomena. Put another way, or this way, the first two are practiced in the conventional state in our daily life, Dharma practitioner or not practitioner. And the third one is practiced according to the ultimate state, to the Dharma practitioner. A characteristic of each classification, that one, let's see, characteristic or definition of each division. The first classification, the first division, practice patience towards those who bring you and your relative obstacles by beating, upbraiding, hating, and abusing, and so forth. So these are brings relatives, creating obstacles, or beating them, upbraiding, or hating them, or hating you and your relatives, friends, and abusing you and your relatives, so forth. What does that mean to practice patience? Or what means practice? This is very important now. The few words makes such an important sense. See, what means patience here? Patience means, not being disturbed. See, patience means not disturb your mind. Not disturb means your peace of the mind, your compassion, your bodhicitta. It's not disturbed. See, then not retaliating. If somebody harms you, not retaliating, back. No, not for tit for tat. No, eye for eye. We say, eye for eye, tit for tat. Not that way. See, then next, not holding resentment. See, we're holding this concept. One time, in such place, this individual hated me, did so bad things, treated me so badly, and we're holding that in the mind. So don't keep that in the mind. So this all you see is not for those individuals, but it's for us. So don't disturb means don't disturb your mind by other conditions. Don't retaliate means don't repeat again mistake. They made mistake, now you are making mistake. So that doesn't solve the problem. So don't repeat the same mistake. Resentment, so keep your mind peace. If you resent or keep the resentment, then you are always not happy, not peaceful. See? So don't keep that resentment. Just make your mind ease, you see, that's called ease, based on wisdom, compassion. So these three words are very important for the practice of patience. Please keep that resentment in the mind are called patience. Now, according to Shantideva, you should investigate. Now there are 9 points. So I will explain here briefly, will not read all the rest, so please keep in the mind. This is all mind training. Now you have heard of Lojong, and a very popular Lojong, the 7 point of Lojong, or you have, the Kadambas, all this, let's go for the 7 point mind training, all these things. It's all here now. Please keep this, So now first one, that those who harm you have no freedom. See, now first look at the person who hates you, who harm you, who hate you, who treated you badly. To that person, say that person has no freedom. Means this person is fully occupied with all the negative emotions, the defilements, under the control of such this, then that person has no freedom to not to harm others. So understanding this, then instead of hurting back, you practice the patience. To first develop compassion. This person desire for peace and happiness, but his or her confusion doesn't allow to have compassion, wisdom. The mind is fully occupied, all these delusions. And here I'm the Dharma practitioner who are practicing bodhicitta. I should not retaliate. I should not disturb my mind. I should not keep resentment. I must practice the patience, forbearance. There's nothing to fear about it. So this is the first mind training. The second, that this harm is fault of your own karma. So now we're blaming to my karma. Who created karma? I have created my karma. Somehow, somewhere in the past means not necessarily previous life, yesterday, last year, some years ago, or from last year, I created such karma. That karma is manifesting here, that I'm getting into this such difficult position. Now this is the time I have to purify my karma. So practice this, you see, such a wonderful, this method. Gampopa so skillfully choose this simple topic, so important. As said, right now I'm facing these difficulties. Similar I have created in the past. So now the result is manifesting, is coming. Now I must accept. I purify. If I repeat, same will continue in the future. So this is the best opportunity to practice the patience. So train the mind this way, you see. Number 3, that this is the fault of your body. This means if somebody hits you on back, stick on the head, so why you are hitting me? It hurts me. Why you are doing this to me? That time you just say, "This is the body that I have got. He or she got the opportunity to hit on me. It's because of my body. If I don't have the body, there's no way to hit me. Nobody can hit. So this is mind training. You see." Otherwise, we may argue, why not? What's wrong with my body? I have the body, so of course, but why he or she should hit me, But this mind training, this to put this reason with the wisdom, reason with the compassion. See, because of my body, like, I'm aging. See, if I don't have body, there's no way to age. You see, I'm getting sick. If I don't have body, there's no way to get sick. If I don't have body, I won't die. There's no body to die. So same thing, because of my body that I have, I'm aging every day, getting older. Then I get sick. See, then I die. The mind doesn't die. Especially your Buddha nature is like a space. The whole planet may be washed by the river. The whole planet may be burned in the fire, but the space never washed away. The space never burned. You see, all this planet is contained within the space. So this body, our body we have, is within the Buddha nature, but it's hurting our body, aging, sickness, and death. So similar, if somebody hits me, it's because of my body. I practice patience. So train the mind this way. See, then number 4, that this is the fault of your mind or my mind. Now this, I'm being angry, it's because of my mind. Somebody hates you, somebody hits you, and I'm angry. It's because of my mind. Just manifesting my bad habit. I used to have this habit for a long time, still continues. Now I have excellent opportunity to practice the bodhicitta. I'm so fortunate. This is the time that I can practice. I purify my all the confusion, the defilements, mental afflictions. So this is the blessings of the Buddha, that I'm getting this message and to practice the Dharma. Yeah. Number 5, the both have equal faults. Now this is relating the person who abuse you and you respond back, same thing. Is the both are in the same in the confusion. He or she, out of confusion, hurt me, and I, out of my attachment to myself, I retaliate. So who is the perfect, or who made the mistake and who have not made mistake? We may say he or she made mistake because first he hit me and that's why I'm suffering. But you are also angry, so you have the same mistake. So here, as you say, I'm the Dharma practitioner. I have the wisdom of the Buddha. I have the more responsible, or I have more responsibility to practice Dharma. That individual is within in the confusion, within in the suffering. So I should take more responsibility to practice the compassion, patience, to help that individuals to practice this. So you see, it is a mind training. It's not enough to get the message, but we have to practice. Okay. Sometimes we may say, oh, this session was so beautiful, wonderful, I like it, but then you put aside. And it doesn't help, Then, like me, I read all these things, I have those all message, but I don't practice myself. Then I'm no any progress, So you get the message and then put into practice. The help, the world need this. You see, this all we need for in the world. It's not just for Dharma practitioners. Everybody needs these things, these wisdoms. Then next, the benefit, you see, the practice of the patience, how much benefit you get. So much, See, through this practice, what is, as earlier mentioned, with the wisdom, with the compassion, wisdom, knowing the causalities, all the interaction of the cause and effect, and compassion. Everybody want to free from suffering, and we should have compassion to free from the cause of suffering. So practice this. When you practice this, then we accumulate great merit, such great merit, because your mind is not disturbed by these negative emotions. We successfully maintain the mind in the right place and accumulate such a great merit, benefits. So look at this, how much benefit is there. For this, all for my benefit. This practice, when I have this accumulated all these good qualities, nobody will take away. It's within me. So I maintain this practice, you see. So the benefit. Feeling gratitude. So now this is especially focusing those person who is hating you, now giving you all the difficulties. Then you will get the chance, practice the patience. So say, I'm so grateful. This person must be a manifestation of Buddha or manifestation of Bodhisattva. Sometimes we say this person must be a demon, It's a Mara, maybe, Mara, demon, coming in my life. You say, now here you say, this person is real manifestation of the Buddha, Bodhisattvas, hurting me all these things, but I got all this great opportunity. I'm so grateful. See, that's called the gratitude, feeling of gratitude. See, this is how mind training is about, you see. Train your mind this way, practice the mind this way. This is how you build the strength. Then there's no fear. Always there's a joy. When somebody is criticizing you, at that moment, there's opportunity to practice the patience. And another way, said, I must have, as earlier mentioned, I must have hurt that person. I must have harmed that person in my previous life. Now, he or she is coming to take back all my negative, the negative karma. So I'm so grateful, purifying my negative karma. I'm so grateful, it's purifying my anger, because my anger is hidden underneath. That person becomes a condition to manifest my anger, what it looks like. So now I get the understanding, obviously, the manifestation of my anger, and I get the opportunity to practice the patience. So I'm so grateful. Thank you so much. So there's no fear. So that's, I think, see, it's not just a patience, but forbearance, fearlessness is practice, you see. And number 8, you see, that all the Buddhas are pleased, you see. So Buddha, you see, as I mentioned, not just only for Buddhists to know. Buddha is not looking for only Buddhists. Buddha is not only caring or only Buddhists. Buddha is caring for every sentient beings, especially those who are in the lower realms, especially those who are a victim of these the mental afflictions. Those who are creating negative karma constantly, Buddha concerns so much. So what I can do, how I can help these things. Now here, if you practice this way, the Buddhas will be pleased, happy. This is what Buddha taught us. Buddha would be not happy just kind of offering some candles, flowers, a bowl of water, Buddha don't drink those water, as you see. In the morning you pour the water in the bowl, in the evening you throw out, Buddha don't take your cakes all away, But Buddha will be so happy if we practice this. This is the best offering to Buddha. So see this. Then Buddha says, this person is really a follower of the Buddha. I'm so happy. So this is how we can change the world. we can change the world in this way. Everybody practice this way, train the mind step by step, and always be mindful, awareness, alert, see, alert, mindful, awareness. This is the key that we keep in the mind to train the mind. Basically, what we're doing is we are purifying our mental afflictions, mental delusions, the bad habit, the habit of the suffering that carry out through limitless lifetimes, one after another. So difficult to get rid of. You see, in the world, you see, everybody is very easy to agitate the mind, irritated mind. Doesn't matter who they are, whether they're a believer or non-believer, you see, whether they're Buddhist or non-Buddhist, even with some Buddhists are so bad, so we say, I'm Buddhist, but very easy to be irritated mind, So you see, this, it shares anybody these of suffering, the cause of suffering. So we have the best opportunity to implement, practice, build the strength, fearlessness. It's called courage, see. Then the last one, that brings great beneficial effects. See, this means we study, practice this way, train the mind step by step this way, and eventually one will become Buddha, see, free from all the suffering and source of all the peace and happiness. So please keep these 9 points here that Gampopa selected, and we practice this. So this, briefly, I now explain this. You can study more about this, and if you have group, in the group, you can study more, discuss more, and practice more, and reflect in the morning, in the evening, while you're walking. So these are just, first you memorize these 9 points, and then you can practice anywhere in the group, without group, while you're walking, jogging, anytime, see. So this is according to Shantideva's system, practice. Now please look at the page 209, and say here, and the Bodhisattva Bhumi says, this is the Asanga system, Acharya Asanga. He said, practice patience by cultivating the 5 attitudes. There's a 5 attitude, or 5 mind training. Perception of feeling close to one who harms you, see. 1, perception that everything depends on interdependent condition. 2, awareness of impermanence. 3, perception of suffering. 4, and perception of fully embracing sentient beings in your heart. So these 5 points that we train the mind. So this I'll read here. First, perception of feeling close to one who harms you. This harmful sentient being in other lifetimes has been your or my parents. So this has been my parents, or my relatives, or my teacher, or my my teacher, and I received, so you receive. I received countless benefit from him or her. So first reflect this. This our reflect in the study and practice in the loving kindness. You see, all sentient beings have been my father, mother, relatives, teacher, friends. So because that I received such a great benefit. See, therefore, at this time, with this kind of harm, this very small harm that he's giving or she's giving, it is not reasonable to retaliate. So practice patience by bringing him into your heart. See, this is not the reasonable. This is not the really a good thing to retaliate. Rather, I should respect. It's my mother, my father. So sometimes the mother scolds the child when the child is not behaving. So like that. Mother does it out of such a concern, such a compassion to free her child from all this negative influence. Now, second, perception that everything depends on interdependent condition. This person who harms you depends on condition. So condition, that person's mood, you see, has like confusion and has the problem of the anger, hatred. Or this person may be not feeling well. See, it's just a projected phenomena. It's just just depends on many causes and conditions. Like the moon's reflection in the lake. Just this phenomena means just conditional thing. Nothing stands independently. So practice patience by contemplating that there is no self. See, there's no self. I say, this is my cup with a cup. Cup is just name. There's no self of cup. The cup is just labeled. If it is broke, you say, my cup is broke, now gone. It shows it's empty. Look at this, self. So there's no self. Sentient beings, life or person who breaks, beats, abuse, or criticizes, it's all just you contemplate. Meditation, everything is just illusory nature. All those negative things manifesting is because the causes and conditions. But reflect on this and meditate. And don't disturb your mind. Only just see it's a reflection. And wisdom, compassion. I myself also, there's no self. So why I'm so angry? Why I'm angry to them? They don't have self. So both we are. Sometimes we say they have no self, I have self, because our habit, we're so habituated, so we purified both. They have no self, I have no self. So why we're struggle, entangled within this confusion? I am a Dharma practitioner. I am a Dharma practitioner. I'm a Bodhisattva. I have more responsibility. I should practice more than they. I am practicing for many years. Still not so much progress is made. I'm bossing around. Oh, I took refuge such time ago, in the 70s, 60s, and the 80s, 90s, But still, I know very little progress is made, Third, awareness of impermanence. By nature, sentient beings are impermanent and subject to death. Therefore, practice patience by contemplating that there is no need to take life because sentient beings will die naturally. This you see. The utmost harm is to kill, to take the life. So no need to take life. We'll die some years, you see. So why I should worry so much, Why I need to take their life, They will die. So like this, everything is impermanent, changing, illusory nature. So these things, what is, as I mentioned, the important is really to protect our mind, from the harms, from the delusions, protecting the mind from creating negative karma. See, it's our own benefit. All this you see, our own benefit. We should see that. Otherwise, sometimes we may think, oh, I am the victim of all this problem. No, sometimes I'm the really like doormat, I'm the doormat, and then I have to suffer all these things. I cannot handle this, If you look at that way, yes, that's. But if you look another way, this is the perfect opportunity to purify all my delusions, all my negative karmas. I'm so happy that I could do this. I'm the most fortunate person in the world. Yeah. Fourth, perception of sufferings. All sentient beings are tortured by the three types of suffering, as you know that. The suffering of suffering, which is obvious, and suffering of change, all temporary peace and happiness changes. You see, today is such a beautiful weather. I enjoy so much. And next day, so hot. I'm suffering. Or very cold. I'm suffering. So it's changing. And pervasive or condition of suffering. I'm the condition of suffering. Suffering will come anytime. So it is all sentient beings are within these conditions. I should dispel these suffering, not establish beings in them. You see, here I'm practicing bodhicitta, and I have to work hard, sentient beings, to free from the suffering, not establish the suffering, not give them suffering. Therefore, I should practice patience towards their harms by perceiving their suffering. You see, when somebody harms me, so that time, instead of resenting or disturb your mind or retaliating, so I must work hard this person to dispel their suffering, dispel the cause of suffering. Meditate on this. If there's no chance, but at least you meditate. Don't disturb your mind. Just relax. And the fifth, precision of fully embracing sentient beings. When I cultivated bodhicitta, I did it for the benefit of all sentient beings. Therefore, when I practice patience by fully embracing them, it is inappropriate to retaliate for small harms. You see, I embrace all sentient beings like my child. In front of Buddha's Bodhisattvas, I said, today I'm here that I have took the Bodhisattva's vow to benefit all sentient beings. So every sentient beings be happy. I'm here for you. So you embrace that, all sentient beings. So remember these things, reflect on these things, and practice. See. So this is the first bodhicitta practice. So you see how beautiful the training of this mind, the practice of patience. The second classification or the division, the patience of accepting suffering with a mind of joy and without sadness of your suffering. See, voluntarily accept the suffering of the practice leading towards the unsurpassable enlightenment. See this, just few sentences, so profound. You see, when suffering comes, we should have such an attitude, feeling of joy. Here is coming to purify my karma. I am so happy, you know, feeling of such a great gift. This is testing my mind, and this is the Buddha's blessing. I'm so fortunate. See? So physically, now when you get sick, it's not pleasant. But in the mind, if you have, this purifies my all karma. This purifies my attachment. And there's a great joy, feeling of gratefulness. See? So voluntarily accept the suffering of the practice, patience, towards the unsurpassable zone. This will lead me towards enlightenment, Buddhahood. The Bodhisattva Bhumi says, voluntarily accepting the 8 different types of hardship, like the suffering related to places, place, with the people, any conditions, that when they're suffering, you just voluntarily accept, and so forth. Generally, these are the suffering when you become a nun or monk. But now we don't have many monks and nuns, only few. But all Dhamma practitioners, we share same thing. You must undergo the suffering of making effort to Dhamma robes, provisions, and so forth. This is now, we should say, like in the old time you have. In the countries, there's like in Tibet, when you become monks and nuns, then there's very little chance for your provision. As you read the life story of Milarepa, he just stayed eating nettles like those. So these are referring, But when we have anybody, Dhamma practitioners, when we face these things, we have to practice the patience and making offering to attending and honoring the triple gem, Buddha, Dhamma, Sangha, and spiritual master, listening to teachings. Sometimes you don't want to listen to teaching. Now they were free, you want to or not want to, but you want to listen because it makes sense. In the past time, when they don't listen to Dharma teachings, then give one individual faces difficulties, suffering, listening to teachings and giving Dharma teachings, like giving Dharma talks. It's not so easy. You have to very carefully calculate and arrange all this, what you're talking about. Otherwise, people say it doesn't make sense, So there's not so easy, to share Dharma teachings. Yeah. Reciting prayers, you get up early in the morning, chanting prayers, meditation, or memorizing the text. Meditate whole day. It's not so fun. You want to go up on the top of the mountain. You like to see sightseeing, go to the ocean, get a sightseeing, and making effort in your meditation practice late at night and early in the morning without sleeping, so without getting sad, tired, exhausted, hot or cold, hungry, thirsty, disturbed, and so forth. Voluntarily accept the suffering of the effort to benefit sentient beings in the 11 ways mentioned earlier in chapter 13. So this is this patience of the accepting the suffering. Look at these, just read them, meditate on this, reflect. Not necessarily everybody has all these things. Some may have few of those. But anyhow, you reflect on this, meditate. It's for my own benefit. It's for my purification of the mind. To free from samsara, to achieve enlightenment. See these things. Furthermore, for example, voluntarily accepting suffering is like undergoing surgeries. It's like undergoing surgery, you see, treatment, and so forth, in order to heal the suffering of virulent disease. See. Engaging in the conduct of the Bodhisattva says, yet the suffering involved in my awakening will have a limit. So it is saying, the suffering that I'm going through to attain the Buddhahood, that suffering has a limit. When I become Buddha, suffering is finished. But if I don't work for enlightenment, if I just suffer in the samsara, there's no limit. Until the samsara endures, suffering continues. So it's a look at that. So it is like the suffering of having, this is the example is suffering of having an incision made in order to remove and destroy greater pains through surgery. If I have some big problem here, if I don't take this out, then it may cost my life. So if I go through the surgery and get rid of that, so while I'm getting the surgery, it's not pleasant. It's not joyful. But if I go through it and successful, all this pain is taken care of. So like this Dharma practice, or for the Dharma practitioner, the suffering is limit. Once you go through it and purify, you are free from samsara and no longer suffering. So look at this and practice the patience. By practicing patience, you gain victory in battle of samsara by annihilating the enemy of afflicting emotions. You are a real, warrior. In the world, warrior gain renown by killing ordinary enemies in the world, in the samsara, who are of nature of the dead. But there are not those individuals we call warrior, they are not really warrior. Their action is like stepping a sword into a corpse. Engaging in the context of the Bodhisattva says, the victorious warriors are those. Victorious Buddha, the warriors are those who, having disregard to all the suffering, all the different mental, physical suffering, whatever there, they disregard. They say, this is easy thing. I can go through because I purify all my cause of suffering. See, vanquish the foes of hatred and so forth. I just, all these negative enemies of the mind are fully vanish, disappear. Common warrior slay only corpse. The common in the samsara who call I destroyed enemy is just like a stepping on the corpse. So this is the patience on the practice of the suffering. See. Now the third classification, the patience is understanding the nature of phenomena, the nature, unfabricated nature of the phenomena. The Bodhisattva Bhumi says, aspiration for the 8 subjects, such as the good qualities of the triple gem and so forth. Aspire to and patiently practice the realization of inherent emptiness of the 2 types of self in the ultimate nature. So when you hear the excellent qualities of the Buddha, sometimes you are frightened. Buddha has that much, how I can achieve? Maybe not possible. All those countless qualities of the Buddha, it just makes you to fear, frightening you. That time we practice patience. Yes, Buddha has all those qualities. It's the quality of the mind. When these, look at like sunshine, when the sun is under the cloud, especially dark cloud, you don't see the sun's quality. When the cloud becomes more and more thin, the sun shines more and more. You can see the light. Then when all the cloud disappear, you can see the complete nature of the sunshine. Likewise, sentient beings, the great bodhisattvas, you can see the brilliant quality they have. Then when one becomes the Buddha, all the quality of the Buddha nature fully manifest. It's uncompounded nature of the Buddha's qualities, spontaneously established. It not depend to others, and all the great compassion, wisdom, and ability to benefit sentient beings. Look at these qualities of the Buddha, and we develop great respect, devotion to Buddha, and inspire ourselves to follow the steps of the Buddha to attain the Buddhahood. And then sometimes we're so attached to self. So when they say there's no self, what do you mean? I'm lost. That sometimes brings the fear, So I say, there's no person self. There's no phenomenal self. Person self, like me, I am, I'm totally, confined within this myself. And then I just trapped within that and I suffer. So say there's no self. We are not making, there's no self. Initially, there's no self. But through the confusion, through the ignorance, then we are grasping the self and fixated on that. So purify this. So realize there's no self of person, there's no self of phenomenon. So these are called the third practice of patience, which is related to the ultimate nature, the ultimate, or should say, nature of the phenomenon. And then next, increase that we have done. Patience will increase through premortal wisdom, discriminating awareness, and dedication, as explained before in chapter 12. And then the profession of patience is supported by pervading emptiness and compassion, as explained before in chapter 12. The result, one should understand the result of patience in the ultimate and conditional state. In the ultimate state, one attains unsurpassable enlightenment. Bodhisattva Bhumi says, if he or she depends on this vast and limitless patience to produce the result of enlightenment, the Bodhisattvas will attain unsurpassable, perfect, complete enlightenment. Now, this, as I explained before, this patience also within that includes all the 6 parameters. Generosity, there's generosity, patience. There's a moral ethics, the moral ethics of patience. The patience of patience, the perseverance of patience, the meditative concentrations of patience, the wisdom awareness of patience, all are within that. So through this perfection, one can attain Buddhahood. In the conventional state, one will have a great completion, be famous, have a long life, and will attain the state of universal chakra monarch, chakravartin, universal monarch in all one's life of different lifetimes, even if one does not desire, in this, one doesn't have wish for, but because you have the practice of patience, all the benefit will manifest. Engaging in the conduct of the Bodhisattva says, well, in cyclic existence in the samsara, patience causes beauty and so forth, health and renown. Because of these, I shall live for a very long time and win the extensive pleasure of the universal chakra kings, chakravartin, universal king. Okay. Then I'll read a little bit from the next chapter, chapter 15, the perfection of the perseverance. Summary, reflecting on the faults and virtues, definition, classification, characteristics of each classification, increase, perfection, and result. These 7 comprise the profession of perseverance. Now, first, reflection on the faults and virtues. Within that, first is the faults. Without perseverance, then nothing will achieve. Even though you may have the practice of generosity, moral ethics, perseverance, and so forth, it is called laziness if you do not have perseverance. When you are lazy, you cannot accomplish virtue, means good qualities, cannot benefit other sentient beings, and cannot attain enlightenment. You see, the Sakaramati Requested Sutra says, the lazy person has no generosity, no moral ethics, no practice of patience, and so forth, up to the wisdom sixth. The lazy person cannot benefit others. The lazy person is far from enlightenment. On the other hand, if you have perseverance, all your virtuous qualities will increase without being obscured. The condensed perfection of Wisdom Sutra says, perseverance will not obscure all the virtuous qualities. One will achieve the treasury of limitless primordial wisdom of the victorious ones. So Buddhahood is the result of the perseverance. You know? When one has perseverance, one can cross the mountain of the view of the transitory aggregates. This mountain of the view of the transitory aggregate means the self-grasping. Our self-grasping is like a mountain, so high, you know, and so difficult to remove. So there's a view that can be purified. This view of self-grasping will purify by the practice of the perseverance. The Ornament of Mayana Sutra says, perseverance will liberate one from the view of the transitory aggregates. If one has perseverance, one will achieve unsurpassable enlightenment quickly. The Ornament of Mayana Sutra also says, perseverance will allow one to achieve supreme enlightenment. The supreme enlightenment means Buddhahood. Sakaramati Requested Sutra says, for those who practice perseverance, it is not difficult to achieve the unsurpassable, complete, perfect enlightenment. This is because Sukramati, where there is perseverance, there is enlightenment. So where there is perseverance, working hard, continuously, no matter what difficulties you face, the enlightenment is there in your hand. Purna Requested Sutra says, for one who practices perseverance persistently, enlightenment is not difficult. See? So we encourage, inspire to have the perseverance. Such just looking at this, so I am determined to practice the perseverance. You know. Now this number 2 definition. What means perseverance? The definition of perseverance is feeling of joy in virtue. See, when you get a chance to study, practice Dharma, always should feel so happy. I mentioned this many times, you know. Like when you practice generosity, you should feel so happy. I'm so happy I could do this practice. Joyfully, you know. You give with smile. Anything you have. Dharma practice, to meditate. Oh, I'm so fortunate I have this opportunity to meditate. What a great to practice bodhicitta. No. There's nothing more than this in the world that can achieve. See? The collection of Abhidharma says, what does perseverance mean? It is the antidote for laziness. It is having totally joy in virtue. It's totally joy. Just simply feel joy, happy, grateful. The commentary to the Ornament of Mahayana Sutra says, having perfect joy in virtue, that is the essence of the perseverance. You see, when you're totally feeling of joy in the practice of Dharma, that's called perseverance. And you will enjoy. Perseverance is the antidote to the laziness, which is detrimental to enlightenment. Most important point. So there are three types of laziness. So today we study this. A, the laziness of listlessness, laziness of disregard, and gross laziness. Okay. Now, A, listlessness, the laziness, means just only pleasure. You like to walk on the beach, you like to walk on the mountain, like to have a good picnic, and like to go to the good place, just enjoy. First, the laziness of listlessness means being attached to the joy of torpor, such as laying down, sleeping, restfulness, and so forth. Maybe I like to have a nap after a nice lunch. Or maybe I like to have a nice walk on the park. These should be avoided. Why should we avoid them? See, why reason? No? Why not we enjoy those things? Because there's no time for them in this life. Buddha said in a sutra, "O monks, consciousness is diminishing," means our clarity of the mind is diminishing. When you're young, mind is more clear, sharp. You memorize quickly, you understand quickly. No? It's diminishing. Life is ending, getting shorter every day. The life force is going out. The energy of the life is now getting less power. And the Buddha's teaching will surely perish. You see, when you read the history at the time of Buddha, how many great arhats came. Then after that, some great teachers came, many great masters. And then in our school, like in Tibet, during the Milarepa time, Gampopa's time, how many great practitioners, whole mountains of practitioners like this, now getting smaller. Now there are many monks, but not that great practitioners. We don't see how many are accomplished, realized. Only few, you see. Look at this, it's getting decreased. So we have all the responsibility, as I mentioned before. Those who study practicing Dharma, we have to take really good responsibility, practice Dharma sincerely, share with others, to help others. Why would one not practice with perseverance and diligence? Buddha said, you see, Buddha's when the monks become a little lazy, then Buddha tells to all his monks, oh, you monk should not be so kind of attached to this life. We must practice, So sitting practice is very important. Discussion is good, necessary, but after some time, then you understood some, you just keep there and follow the practice, meditation. That's very important because realization comes through the meditation practice, not so much through so much discussions. Engaging in the contact of the Bodhisattva says, for as long as death is actually approaching, then I shall accumulate merit, you see. I must now practice Dharma as long as I have the life. If you think that it is acceptable to accumulate virtue at the time of death, so this is, right now, let me enjoy my life, and I will take seriously at the time of death, I will practice Dharma. Yes, I understand that there is no time to accumulate virtue then. So at that time, this is not, it's a wrong time, means you cannot do. Engaging in the contact of Bodhisattva says, even if I then put a stop to laziness, that will be the use. This is not the right time. This is not the time. So as I mentioned, yes, I will practice Dharma at the time of death. So give me all the tips how to die at the time of death. What should I do? No. Then we just accumulate all the message on how to die, when to die, all this. That time our mind is totally occupied, our confusion. All the message, all the information we receive is gone. So we have to practice now. See, when we have breath, when we have health, we must practice now because we get used to it. Look at some examples, We have a lot of information, but sometimes when you get such a pain and you are totally occupied by the pain, there's no Dharma left, no trace of Dharma left. So look at this right now. While you have breath, we practice Dharma. If you think you will not die until the completion of the accumulation of virtue, so then you argue, oh no, I will not die so fast, until I accumulated all the virtue, I will not die, So not so sure, Understand that there is no definite confidence. It is said, the untrustworthy Lord of Death waits not for things to be done or not done. Lord of Death will not say, yes, now you go, you are completed, you are all the virtues, Lord of Death will not, it will not count that. See? Whether I am sick or healthy, this fleeting lifespan is unstable. Then how should one avoid listlessness, feeling of the attachment to the comfort? You should avoid it as if a snake had coiled in your lap or your hair had caught fire. Engaging in the context of Bodhisattva says, just as I would swiftly stand up if a snake came into my lap. Likewise, if any sleep or laziness occurs, I shall quickly turn them back. So this is easy, you can understand. And the caught your hair in the fire is here. The letter to a friend, Nagarjuna says, if your hair or cloth accidentally catch fire, postpone even this extinguishing. Says now Nagarjuna saying, very urgent practicing Dharma. If your hair is caught by fire, cloth is caught by fire, let it burn, don't extinguish, just practice Dharma, Why? It's in here. Make effort to stop rebirth in samsara, because there's no other more important work than that, you see. Our effort is not to reborn in samsara, cross the samsara. That's the most important thing. Now the disregard is second, the laziness of disregard means a feeling of discouragement in the mind that I think, say, a weak person like me, even if I make effort, how could I ever achieve enlightenment? You see, right now, I feel such an ordinary person. I don't know even I have a bodhisattva or not. You see, I'm such a poor person. I'm not smart enough. Now I'm old. I'm also not feeling well. So how I can achieve Buddhahood? So looking down on yourself. My mind is so dull, not clear. How I can practice Dharma? When you have that, you should avoid this disregard for yourself by avoiding this discouragement. How should one avoid discouragement? It is said in the Bodhicharya Avatara. If they develop the strength of their exhaustion, even those who are small bugs, fly, mosquitoes, bees, and insects will win the unsurpassable awakening, which is so hard to find. So for those, when the mosquito can achieve Buddhahood, how the fly can achieve Buddhahood, for them is very difficult, But if they try, they will also achieve Buddhahood. See. Now here you see. So if I do not forsake the Bodhisattva's way of life, means if I practice bodhicitta, why should someone like myself, who has been born in the human race, right now I'm a human being, and then not only that, not attain awakening, since I am able to recognize what is beneficial and what is of harm. I can see the benefit of bodhicitta. I can see the mental afflictions are cause of samsara. So I have that kind of ability. So if I try, why not I can achieve enlightenment? Even I'm not that perfect. So these insects, mosquitoes, they don't know what bodhicitta is about. You tell this a big, a mass of mosquitoes, so you should try to meditate. They have no idea. they will try to suck your blood, So this is a very important point because we have Buddha nature. And then gross laziness means keeping life so busy for this life. Third, gross laziness means being attached to non-virtues like destroying enemies, accumulating wealth, and so forth. These are the direct cause of suffering and therefore should be avoided because Dharma is more important than anything else. Because we keep busy this life to have good wealth, good life. But if you achieve Buddhahood, that's the most highest good life. Just enjoy all things, whether you have not have. Unconditional state of the enlightenment, happiness. Yeah. Now the third perseverance has three divisions. Perseverance of armor, perseverance of application, and insatiable perseverance. The first is the excellent motivation. The second one is excellent applied effort. And the third one is the perfection of these two. The classification of each, characteristics of each classification. The first, perseverance of armor means, the armor means from now until all sentient beings are established in the unsurpassable enlightenment, I will not give up the perseverance of virtue. Such armor should be worn. See, what means perseverance of armor means I will, until I become Buddha, I will persevere. I will practice Dharma. I will enjoy practice of bodhicitta. So this kind of mind should be cultivated. The Bodhisattva basket says, Shariputra, one should wear inconceivable armor. One should not relax his perseverance for enlightenment until the end of samsara. Now, this means continuously our mind stream towards the enlightenment. No any other choice or no any other alternative, just look around. The explanation of the establishment of Armor Sutra says, Bodhisattva should wear armor in order to gather sentient beings. Because sentient beings are limitless, one should wear the limitless armors. To benefit all sentient beings means I should wear armor to help every sentient beings without any bias towards everybody. And Akshamati's requested sutra says, Akshamati, yes, do not wear armor by counting. This many kalpa I will wear armor, and this many kalpas I will not. Rather, one should wear the infinite armor. We should not practice Dharma. I will practice Dharma this much. After that, I will rest. Not that way. Until you become Buddha, you just continue, cultivate bodhicitta, continue exercise bodhicitta all the time, purify our delusions. Then the Bodhisattva Bhumi says, I will happy even I have to stay in the hell for thousands of kalpas in order to liberate sentient beings, or liberate the suffering of one sentient being, to say nothing of a short period of time and a small amount of suffering. This is called the perseverance of the amal of the Bodhisattva. So look at the Gampopa. He found such a precious quotation from the Buddha Sutra. So he read all the Buddha Sutra, you see. Okay. Second, perseverance of application. So applied perseverance is of three types. Diligent effort to avoid afflicting emotions, diligent effort to accomplish virtue, and diligent effort to benefit sentient beings. First, diligent effort to avoid afflicting emotions. The afflicting emotions of desire, aversion, ignorance, and so forth. All the actions they influence, see, are the root of all sufferings. These three mental poisons and others, and their action means they act and they create negative karma. They are the direct cause of our suffering. This we mentioned repeatedly before. Now here, see Gampopa precisely why we are making perseverance. We are making perseverance basically to uproot this. Therefore, for a long time, purify them individually and make effort for them not to rise, you see, individually or all. Like say, if one has more aversion, more anger, focus on that, purify. If one has more desire, purify them. If one has more ignorance, purify them individually, and then reduce their strength step by step. So it's all their strength means the habit we have, purify them. Engage in the concept of Bodhisattva says, if I find myself amidst a crowd of afflicting emotional conception, I shall endure them in 1,000 ways, like a lion among foxes and so forth. I will not be affected by these host of afflicting emotions, you see, giving the example of lion and foxes. I should be like a lion, like the lion, the foxes, and all other small animals around. The lion will not be feared or threatened. Always subdue them. Likewise, I am a lion of the practitioner. These mental afflictions, they are like a manifestation of like a foxes. I purify them. I subdue them. I purify them. I uproot them. So this way is just the practice, the Dharma. That's our main purpose of the Dharma practice, bodhicitta, because they are the one. These mental poisons, they ruins the bodhicitta. There's nobody can ruin the bodhicitta. Only by these mental afflictions, the enemies we have within our own mind. And we individually have our own responsibility to purify them. Nobody can help us. Even Buddha comes in front of you No, Buddha cannot take your ignorance. Buddha can help you how to get rid of your ignorance. Buddha can show you the path. But Buddha directly says, you have these all mental afflictions, right now I will take care of that, so throw away. No, that doesn't happen. So we all have the responsibility. So we have the Buddha's teaching here with us. Now we have every opportunity to practice Dharma. Then what is the example of mindfulness? It is said, those who practice should be as attentive as a frightened man carrying a jar full of mustard oil who is being threatened by someone with a sword that he will be killed or persecuted if he spills just one drop. This actually happened at the time of Buddha. Buddha sent a group of monks to a country as they requested. And in the country, there was a small kingdom, arranged all the ceremony, beautiful dance, and singing, all this. And the king approached to the head of the monk, said, have you enjoyed all my performances? And the head of the monk said, no, I did not get it. So I said, I didn't pay attention so much, so I cannot say it, The king was really not happy, I perform all this precious ceremony for you, Why you are saying you did not enjoy? I'm very disappointed, Then the head of the monk, he said, I understand your point. Yes, I understand. I will give you one example. Please do it. Tomorrow you perform the same ceremony, but you bring a prisoner who has all this, because we say, it can be like persecuted, So perform in front of him, but you give him a bowl full of the mustard oil to the rim, and then take him between two prison guards, one in the front, one at the back. Ask him, if you spill one drop from the bowl, you'll be killed that moment. If you are not dropped, then you'll be free. So next day, king, as the monk requested, the king performed. And at the end of the prisoner was so careful, of course, his walk, not to drop even not to drop even a drop from the oil. So then he could successfully surround that. And then monk asked the king, please ask him if he has enjoyed all these performances. So then king said, oh, yes, I will ask him. So the king asked the prisoner, I had performed all these musics and all the dances, all this. Have you noticed? Have you enjoyed? The prisoner said, not at all. No, I haven't seen any of those things because I'm totally focused on this ball. So the monk said, you see, like this. In the samsara, first of all, there's nothing to enjoy. Everything's illusory nature. And I'm full of mindfulness. I didn't pay attention to all of those things. Then the king understood, and king was so condescending, admired, appreciated, and respected all the monks. Oh, this is what they practice Dharma teachings. So we should practice like this, you see. Okay. Now the second diligent, I think we can finish it. Effort to accomplish virtue. You should make effort to perfect the 6 parameters without regard for even your body or life. You should, how should you make such an effort? You should make effort in the 5 perseverance. So now there are 5 perseverance. Persistently, 1, with devotion, 2, unshakably, 3, without turning back, 4, and without arrogance. The first, making a constant effort. The Cloud of Noble Jewel Sutra says, a bodhisattva is one who perseveres in all different types of action without getting tired in body or mind. This is called the persistent perseverance of a bodhisattva. So remember, practice this all joyfully, always feeling of grateful, fortunate. This will give you all the energy, not to tired, not to exhaust. If you are feeling, if you don't enjoy so much, Dharma practice is not so easy, it's sitting, I like to watch, go out there, then you get tired easily. But if you just enjoy the Dharma, look how Dharma is so precious. In the world, there's nothing can replace by the Dharma. Have that. The second, making effort with the devotion means, you see, persevering quickly with joy and happiness as it said. Thus, in order to complete this task, I shall venture into it, just as elephant tormented by the midday sun, plunges into a lake. So, in the summer, hot weather, elephant is big, really heating by the heat. So when elephant sees the lake, they jump into the lake. So it's so joyfully. So like that in the samsara, like the heat, drying all the legs, burning all the bushes, is in the samsara, burning all the peace and happiness, all the virtues. In that condition, Dharma practice is how to free from that. So we enjoy the Dharma practice so joyfully. The third is unshakable effort. Your mind should not be shaken by the harms of conceptual thoughts, afflicting emotions. See, sometimes we have, as I mentioned, sometimes Dharma practice is, why I'm practicing Dharma? It's not for me, I don't like Dharma, sometimes we say. Sometimes you say, even Dharma practitioners, sometimes say, oh, I like Dharma. Sometimes say, no, it's too hard because our mind, the mental afflictions are so strong, taking our attention to all different directions. So in those times, he's saying, those and the hardship of suffering. See, so this time we should not be affected by these mental afflictions. The fourth is making effort without turning back. You should not turn back by seeing others harm, wild behaviors, disturbances, degenerated view, and so forth. So this is saying, when you see nowadays, oh, it is degenerated time. So people are so corrupted, their behavior is so wild. How I can practice Dharma? I cannot do these things. This time we have to make more effort, greater effort. Never turn back. These conditions, we should have such a mind not affected by these conditions. This is mentioned in Arya Vajra Davaza Sutra. See this view so forth. The fifth is perseverance without arrogance. By performing perseverance, you should not become haughty. Now they are making balance. Sometimes you are practicing really well, like a retreat, week-long, month-long, year-long. Then you say, oh, I'm really good practitioner. No, so I'm better than anybody else. So it's our ego develops, So that time also you have to balance, bring down your ego. You are not Buddha yet. You are not free from samsara yet. You have to make effort more. The third diligent effort is to benefit sentient beings. This means supporting those who do not have support and so forth through the 11 topics mentioned earlier in chapter 13. So please look at there. Means you make effort. Who needs your support? Who needs your help? Encouragement, anything. Like when you have discussions, your Dhamma brother, sister may say, I cannot really, I'm not so interested. That time you don't say that. No, come back. No, you are good. You are wonderful. We can do this. No problem. So just in helping others, sharing wisdom, sharing courage, sharing compassion, these things. These are the explanation of the applied perseverance. Third, insatiable perseverance. You should persevere without satisfaction until you achieve enlightenment. It is said, if I feel that I never have enough sensual objects, which are like a honey smeared on a razor's edge, then why I should ever feel that I had enough merit, which ripens in happiness and peace. See, even in the world, see, like going to the mountain, going to the beach or picnic, these things, very temporary. We are so attached to these. People have no enough, say, these things. Still, those are such a, it's like the, honey on the razor. Why not for enlightenment, Buddhahood? We make effort. Now next, the increase. Perseverance will increase through premortal wisdom, discriminating awareness, dedication, as explained before in chapter 12. Perfection. The perfection of perseverance is supported by pervading emptiness and compassion, as explained before in chapter 12. One should understand the result of the practice of the perseverance in ultimate and conditional state. In the ultimate state, one attains unsurpassable enlightenment, Bodhisattva Bhumi says, by fully perfecting the parameters, perfection of perseverance, Bodhisattva attained the unsurpassable, perfect, complete enlightenment, are attaining complete enlightenment and will attain complete enlightenment. So Buddhas in the past, in the future, now they attain Buddhahood by the perfection of the perseverance. The fruit of the conventional state is that one will have all the supreme joys of existence, even while in the samsara. The ornament of Mahayana Sutra says, through perseverance, one achieves all his or her wishes well in samsara. When you have the perseverance, one will have all the good qualities, but still no attachment to this. So until one becomes the Buddha. So I think we've done so well. Now tomorrow is the perfection of meditative concentration. That's wonderful. Thank you so much, everybody.
Thank you, Rinpoche.
Yeah. Is this helpful, everybody?
Yes.
Excellent teaching.
Yes, thank you, Rinpoche.
Yes. Thank you, Rinpoche.
Thank you. Wonderful,
So
yes.
wonderful.
Yes.
Gracias, Rinpoche.
Muchas gracias, yes.
Short
Qué bueno.
Qué bueno.
Muchas gracias. Tashidele.
Yeah, Tashidele, yes. So now,
dedication.
please read this and reflect more and reinforce. Samsara, as you mentioned, samsara is illusory nature. Sometimes very wonderful. You feel this is perfect. I don't need dharma. Sometimes that happens. At that time, make sure that temporary joy, happiness not take over you. They are all illusory nature. They're changing. I'm not saying they are bad. This is important. But they are impermanent, changing. But Dharma is, you see, once you are convinced the Dharma, then Dharma is good forever. That's why Buddha said, Dharma is good at the beginning, Dharma is good at the middle, Dharma is good at the end. All the time, you see, Bodhicitta is good at the beginning, good at the middle, good at the end to become Buddha, you see. So reflect on this, meditate, appreciate, rejoice. There are not many people who will talk about the Bodhicitta practice like this, They will say Bodhicitta is so wonderful, Bodhicitta is the best, say, but they will not tell you how to practice Bodhicitta as described here in the jewel ornament of liberation. See, so please see that. So this, as mentioned, Gampopa, who was really responsible to establish complete Buddhist teaching in Tibet. Because of his influence, pervaded entire Buddhists in Tibet. See, because he was Buddha before many kalpas. Even at the time of Buddha, he was born as a Bodhisattva, Chandra Pravava Kumara, and Buddha taught the Samadhi Raja Sutra. And then Buddha said, you are responsible to promote, to give these teachings in the future. And Gampopa said, yes, I will do this. When Gampopa came about in Tibet at his time, then he told his senior monks, you cannot go anywhere. Please, you have to support me to promote this teaching. because we were at the time of Buddha. You all accepted me to help. See, so precious. No, so precious. This represents Gampopa. No, it's the region of Gampopa. So please take this in their heart, in meditate. There's both for Mahamudra practice, as you see. Now will come into chapter 17, the wisdom section. There's a lot of Mahamudra section. And then before that, chapter 16, which will come tomorrow, about the meditative concentration, how to achieve that. You see, how skill you need to organize your mind. We cannot force the mind. See, you cannot trap your mind in the wrong place, but you need a skill so much how to now clear your mind, how to reveal your mind. Need so much skill, method, because mind is so vast, as I mentioned, unfathomable, like the space. So please see this. No, the world needs all your effort, all your interest in the Dharma practice, so the world can be better. No. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. And now please take a deep breath. Inhale fully. And exhale all the stress. Once more, please inhale all the bodhicittas of the Buddha. And make our mind as a space, and exhale. Once more, please inhale fully and make your mind as a space. And relax as it is. And appreciate and rejoice that during this session, what we went through. And if you get some glimpse of more understanding, you just these are such a precious thing. Wisdom, mind training. I'm so happy. I know many of you for many years have been studying, practicing Dharma. I really respect that. And I'm really grateful about this. No, I rejoice fully. And so please understand about that. This I'm just saying very sincerely, you know. I don't have any expectation, but only have expectation that you will study, practice Dharma well, and you get the benefit for the benefit of all sentient beings. And that's the greatest offering to Buddha. And this is the greatest offering to the sentient beings. Please meditate on this. And now, Anila, please do some short dedication prayers.
Concise long life, you who are richly endowed with glorious wealth of Dharma knowledge, who through reflecting, meditating, have actualized the self-aware absolute reality, and shine with the 100,000 light rays of ethical discipline, of the Buddha Dharma. May you, Kenshin Ratnazoa, live long. Dorje Chang, Chilopa, Naropa, Marpa, Milarepa, Dharma Lord Gampopa, Phagmadrupa, and Lord Drikumpa. Please bestow upon us the highest and the most auspicious blessings of the Kagyu Lamas. By the virtue may I achieve omniscience by defeating all enemies' confusion. May all who travel on waves of birth, old age, sickness, and death cross the ocean of samsara. Bodhicitta, the excellent and precious mind, where it's born may it not decline, where it's unborn may it arise, and where it is born may it not decline, but ever increase higher and higher. I pray that the Lama may have good health. I pray that the Lama may have long life. I pray that your Dharma activities spread far and wide. I pray that I may not be separated from you. As Manjushri and likewise Samantabhadra realized the ultimate state, I will follow in their path and fully dedicate all the merit to all sentient beings. By the blessing of the Buddhas who attained the three kayas, by the blessing of the truth of unchanging Dharma as such, and by the blessing of the indivisible Sangha order, may the merit I share bear fruit. By the virtues collected in the three times, by myself and all beings in samsara and nirvana, and by the innate root of virtue, may I and all beings quickly attain unsurpassed, perfect, precious enlightenment. May the teachings of the great Drikungpa Ratnashiri, omniscient Lord of the Dharma, master of interdependence, continue through study, practice, contemplation, and meditation until the end of samsara. Kenshin Lab, thank you for one more
Thank
amazing.
you. Yeah, thank you so much, everybody.
Muito obrigada.
Thank you, Kenshin.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you,
Yes.
Kenshin.
Thank you, Ken.
Namaste, Rinpoche.
Chúc
Thank
sư được nhiều sức khỏe.
everybody.
Cảm ơn ban tổ chức ạ. Cảm
Thank
ơn
you.
mọi người.
Everybody.
Muito obrigada. Thank you so
Thank
much.
you, Rinpoche.
Hasta mañana. Then thank
See
you,
you tomorrow.
everybody. See you
Muchas
tomorrow.
gracias,
Muchas
Kenchen.
gracias.
Thank you so much.
Gracias.
Dale.
Gracias.
Bye bye.